my daughter thought not, and it's too hard, and then they decided to come in.
Very nice. They were last year too, right?
Yeah.
Part of split time.
It's joint custody.
Have they made pesos yet? Have they made pesos themselves?
No.
I told her, I think I mentioned what my plan is to keep going to my in-laws until my daughter's old enough that I could start going to her for peso. The generational shift. All right, we are on Daf Yud Gimel on a base. Oh, look at base, right? Somebody who's this Mishnah, most of this Mishnah we had in, not the Mishnah, the Gemara on the Mishnah itself actually we had in Ksubas recently, and Ksubas in the Yerushalmi, of course. Somebody who has taken an oath not to derive any benefit from his friend, his friend took it works, it's reflexive, but his friend took an oath not to get any enough from him. Now Reuben is barred from receiving an oath from Shimon. Okay? But Shimon nevertheless can pay his machzis or shekel. Even though Reuben can't derive benefit from him, Shimon can pay his machzis or shekel. That mitzvah of giving the machzis or shekel.
Which indirectly Reuben
benefits because he saves money, right? But that indirect benefit is not also in the word. It's going to explain why. Uporelos chova, he can also not just give his machzis shekel, but pay back loans which are outstanding against Reuben. If he finds Reuben's lost item, he can return it to him. However, in a place where there's reward for returning lost items, so then people hano lehektish. Then in that case, the type of case where both Reuben can't derive hano from Shimon and Shimon can't derive hano from Reuben, for whatever reason the Nedarim were constructed that way. So then he can't get, even though the one can be machzir the aveda to the other, but the person who got the aveda back, if he promised a reward, cannot give that reward to the finder, because that's giving hano. So that hano would have to go to hektish instead. Okay?
Can I say thank you to him?
It's not clear from our Gemara, but I would guess that if you would normally, if he'd normally be cordial, he couldn't be extra cordial now, right? But I guess thank you would probably be okay. I can't tell you for sure. Rabbi Ba Bar Memo boy, he asked like this: this is going into Ksubis issues, digressing for a moment from the Nedarim. Somebody pays back his friend's loan, Shomidaitu, without his consent. In other words, he wasn't asked about the deal. So does the person who owed the money have to pay back the person who stood in to pay back for him? So to flew to the Chanam ne Kohen Gedolim. It's a Machlokas Shri Chanan and the sons of Kohen Gedolim. On Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi said, Chanan said he's exempt, and ne Kohen Gedolim said he's chayiv. On Rabbi Yossi, time of the Kohen Gedolim. The reason the children of Kohen Gedolim, Tamon, because over there, a person will reimburse somebody who sustains his wife while he's in chutz over there, because the person doesn't want his wife to die of famine. But here, in a case where somebody paid back a loan for another individual, the guy who the loan was paid back for says, I don't know you a thing, because Mephias Avinole, I would have appeased him, and he would have forgiven me. Now, by one's wife, one can't say that because the wife needs mizonos, right? But here the guy could say, I would have appeased him, so therefore I'm not going to give you anything, even though you paid back my loan for me, but I could have gotten out of it scot-free. Okay? So says the Gemara, wait a minute. God's more. Let's imagine this case. Davagabe mashkon. What if the lender had a mashkon of the borrower's collateral? So the borrower can't say he would. It seems unlikely. That he was convinced the guy to part with his with the debt which is owed him, just because the other guy sweet talks him, right? So therefore, it's unlikely that he would have been able to get out of. No, I'm sorry. He would be able to do that. I apologize. I would have sweet talked him out of the money I owe him. Okay?
He has the mashkon.
Oh, so the more it says, so what if he has a mashkon? So God's gabe mashkon. So it says the Gemara mefayis havina leib hu yardli mashkoni. Would have sweet talked him out of the mashkon too.
Getting the mashkon back.
That's what he says. Yeah, that's what can I tell you? It's he's saying, but he's bottom line is hamotzu chaber lo varaya. Guy who wants to get reimbursed and spending the money for the guy has to have a raya that otherwise this fellow would have collected anyway. How's he supposed to prove that? He's supposed to have to prove really something which never took place. So therefore he is stuck. He's got a problem. And theoretically, I guess he could, but it's very difficult. Is that clear?
It doesn't make sense though, because if the guy has the mashkon, he's not going to allow himself to be sweet talked out of forgiving the loan, the debt.
So he'll just keep the mashkon himself.
Yeah, I understand. You're right. It's very unlikely, but I guess that remote chance is enough, according to this Gemara, to say Hamotzi Mechaber Lo Varaya. So it says,
unless the mashkon isn't worth the full value of the debt, it's just symbolically.
yeah, but the Gemara doesn't draw such distinctions. Says the Gemara, Aglu Bal Chov Sheina Dochik. That may be true about a creditor who's not pushing to get his money back. But I feel about by Shudokik. What about if the creditor is pushing to get his money back and the debtor has no money? In that case, also, do we say that that he can sweet talk his way out? So let's learn from here. And this is again something which comes from it's more full than here, but actually it's from our Mishnah here. If you look in the Korban Eidah, in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th line down from the beginning, the wide lines, he has a Hey Gimel in the middle of the line. You see that?
Yeah.
So Hachi Garcinan, the Shmir Min Adah, that we have in our one of the next words are missing. V'shokol shiklo, you measure out his shekel, below shekel, and that's when asked. Below shekel ema mashkin also, how can the other guy pay a shekel for him? By shekel, there's
Everyone has the same obligation.
what?
Doesn't everyone have the individual obligation to pay the shekel?
Yeah, so what?
So no longer shalom funnel, but someone else is paying the shekel for him.
Right?
So we could do that.
Yeah, we can. So again, it should have done shekel shiklo below shekel ema mashkin also. By shekel, isn't there a mashkin? Meaning, don't we compel? Yeah. So by the machzit to shekel, we compel the person to give if he hasn't given yet.
So that's like Baal Bayis Dochik. Like we have the concept Baal Bayis Dochik, the Baal Bayis is pushing you. So to by Machzis or Shekel, there's the basin or the gizbor compelling the individual to pay if he hasn't yet paid. So here we see the fundamental principle already by our Mishnah. Here we see the fundamental principle expressed by our Mishnah that even though Baal Bayis Dochik, even though Baal Bayis is pressing you to pay, nevertheless it's not considered pressing the debtor to pay. It's not considered to be anah, provided by the third party that says step in and save him from the situation. Okay, because our Mishnah is 10th month about Bais Dochi because they pressure you to pay up this the machzis a shekel they owe. And nevertheless, the guy who pays machzis a shekel for this individual doesn't necessarily get reimbursed. Okay? So it says the Gemara, second to last narrow line, Taylor Choshuke, you should know this is true. The Tzim we learned, Umakriv Olav Kinei Zavin, you sacrifice for him Kinei Zavin, Kinei Zavos, Kinei Yoldos, Chatos Vishashamos. You can sacrifice an individual against who has forsworn all benefit from you, all his karbanos. You can sacrifice for him the pair of birds that she needs as a zav, the pair of birds she needs as a zava, the pair of birds she needs if she gives birth, a chatos or an asham. So how can you do all this? There it's not Baal Bayis Dochei, certainly, and Lamaisa, why are you allowed to bail him out this way? So says the Gemara, it should really be like Ella, and the second to last word in the last narrow line in the Gemara. Ella b'shelo nichnas l'soch yadav klum. The reason why, here's a fundamental principle which I think you alluded to before, which is that it depends whether something transfer goes to his hands or not. Okay? Meaning that the case where you the case where you're forbidden to provide benefit for somebody who forswore benefit from you is where you're doing something into his hands, directly to him. We're doing it to a storekeeper, which you mentioned before, so that's not directly him. That's okay. That's we're not providing hanoah to him, but rather deflecting anybody from approaching him. So therefore, that's not considered to be true hanoah. Okay? So that's okay.
Same thing with the machzis shekel. You're not giving it directly. You're giving it to the...
Yeah, but then Basin will beat you if you don't give it. They beat you if you don't give machzis shekel. So there, it's important for him to obviously it's important for him over there to have somebody paid up. So it's more likely over there that he would have to repay whatever he got. As opposed to over here, this is a proof that since he can sacrifice korbanos for an individual, it must be that it's a true, it's truly based on some other point, which is that actually I'm not sure I understood your question.
No, machzis shekel always said that Shimon can pay Reuven's machzis shekel.
Right.
Reuven. So it's also, I was just saying it's the same analogy as the here, the storekeeper. The money is not going directly to Reuven, who then gives it to the Gizbar. Shimon is giving the machzis shekel, Reuven's machzis shekel directly to the Gizbar.
Right.
So I wasn't questioning, I was just saying it's the same analogy.
Okay, fine. It is the same analogy, right? So that's what I was trying to say. So it says Gemara again, but shelo nichnas b'toch yada klum, or b'shelo nichnas ela b'shelo nichnas b'toch yada klum, v'kar b'shelo nichnas yada klum. In other words, bottom line is that it's considered to be that you're deriving benefit if something goes through his hands, but not if you go around his hands. Okay? Says Rav Shimon Levi Omer, there's nobody who is grabbed, seized, and made to pay for another individual. That other individual should be liable to give him the requested sum. Ella Barna Bigugolis. Only by real estate tax and head tax. Rava said, anything, any type of clinic, any type of the opportunity which a person has where he's grabbed by somebody else, so then, he has to, any type a situation where a person is required to pay by the government or some authority for somebody else, so then he can go back to the person who actually should have paid and demand the money from him. Chayla the Rabbi Nadar. Rab's proof is from here, because it says Agoizel Sodom and the Talua Mesikin. It says if somebody stole a field and then other people turn around and coerced it or stole it from the thief. So in that case, it says that the Goslin who stole the field initially has to make restitution for the field which was stolen, right? Because it's called nitpas al chavero, even when it is not just a tax, but rather a slave, right? Or this is a merchant, whatever the case may be. In any event, the guy who stole the field over here, the guy who stole the field has to make restitution to the initial owner, right? The guy, so it must be that I've had a board, I would draw it. You have, in both cases, you have the initial person, somebody who's demanding, and somebody else who steps in the middle, right? So, by a stolen field, you have the initial person on the field.
Well, that's Ruben.
That's Ruben. You have the bandit, Levi. You go to the second field, Shimon, right?
Yeah.
No, there are two guys over here. There's Shimon bandit number 1 and Levi bandit number 2. Because the Mitzikin took from the Goslin. That's what I need a boy. The Mitzikin took from the Goslin.
Yeah.
So there are two sets of bandits here. Reuven was stolen from by Shimon, and then Shimon was stolen from Levi.
Okay.
So who has to make restitution to Reuven? Shimon, right?
Right, because Shimon is the immediate robber from...
Right, so here we see Luchora that even in other areas other than Arnon and Gugolis, if somebody pays up for you, such as here the Goslin paid up for the person from whom he stole, he gets it back in the end, right? I mean,
Right.
the opposite. He has to pay out.
Yeah, so Levi gave the value of the field back to Ruben without paying back Shimon.
Right. I don't know if I'm getting it correct. I'm not sure if what you said is right. You have here's 3 tables, right? This table's so hard to move.
Cheers.
This table stole from this table. And then this table stole from this table. Who's got to get back to this table?
Also, the middle table was stolen on both
The
sides.
middle table's guy who stole, he stole, and he was stolen from. But he's the one who has to make restitution to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now, that's one case. The second case is that the bandit number 3 came and took tax for him from him. I don't know exactly how I wanted to do that. It's much easier than I'm actually making it, make it sound like. I don't know why I'm doing this. But, you have any clue what's going on?
No.
No? Okay. I'll try again. Reuben, Shimon, Levi. Our question is, if Shimon comes and pays the taxes for Reuben, can he turn around to Levi? Can he turn around and take the money from Reuben? That's our question, right? It's a machlokas. So Rav said he can, and not just can he, but in all cases where Shimon is paying out for Reuven to Levi, Shimon will go back to Reuven. Okay? So far, so good. So it says more, and Rav says, "Approve my point that an individual, stole a field. The field was then grabbed by the tax collectors, and let me just make sure I got the case right this way. No, I didn't get the case right. That's where the one that I'm off. Okay, I was making a mistake. The gossip. Number one of the gossip. He sold a field. He sold the field to him. This guy bought thinking he's legit. He grabbed the field from the legitimate guy number 2. Who pays him now? Legitimate guy number 2. The gospel from which he bought the field. Right? So to here he says it's identical case to our case. Our case is this guy's owed taxes. He pays his taxes to the government. Where should he go back now to? Get his money? Okay. That's right. You see the example now at all? Number 1 is the gospel. He sold to number 2. Number 3 comes to the manager number 2. Number 2 goes back to number 1 and demands his money back. So we want to say over here, if he stole a what?
Field.
No, yeah, but I finished with that case. In this case, he owes money, and this guy pays for him to his creditor, so this guy goes back and demands money over here from him. Same case. In this case, you have either a goblin or an individual who just owes money. And here we have a person who is willing to pay on his behalf to the third party. So we see in both cases they have recourse to the first party. That's what he's trying to say.
Can you make the same analogy between a Goslin and a Lobel as the Gemara is doing? Are you allowed to do that?
Does. That's what I was about to reject. You're saying good, but that's Rob's a generalization, right?
One is a legitimate,
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Okay, so Rob says, again, go third wide line. Anybody who is seized for his friend, chayav lo, the friend is chayav to make him restitution. The proof of Rab is from here. If somebody steals the field, it was taken by the bandits. So then, actually, we're missing a step here. The step is that somebody stole a field, he sold it to somebody else, and that somebody else had the place seized. So in that case, the somebody else goes back to the Gaza and gets his money back. Here too, you go back to the original debtor and get your money back, which you paid for it. It says Mara. Lo shama dam Rabbi Yochanan knas konsu b'Goslin. He didn't hear the Rabbi Yochanan say it's only a specific fine by a Goslin, not by anybody else. If by a Goslin, you go back to the Goslin, but normally you can't go back. So if you have no right, you go back in anything case other than Arnonum Gugolas to anybody else and reassess, what was going on. Okay? Says the Gemara. Rabbi Avin asked, the Hava should be Rabba. What if they collect, the guy paid a more poll tax or real estate tax than was actually due? The guy was being, the kind of good Samaritan. So what's his status? And Rabbi Chia Bar Laina Tarvai Army the most said B'Shem. It's not Rabbi Shmuel, just to read Shmuel. Name was Shmuel. Chanamar once said, not Be'arnon, but Ki Arnon Gugolis. It's the same thing, like Arnon and Gugolis, which are the two taxes. And even if the government overcharged, whoever was paid for has to pay the overcharge. And the other opinion, which is not brought down for some reason, but is brought down in Ksubas, so I'll read you outside. The Chorona Mar, the other said, Eina Karno Kugos. The additional amount is basically, the additional amount is basically lost. The individual put out the money for it. He has to give up out because he has no recourse for it. I mean, I guess, let's see the Shemaim, you should get it back, but he has no recourse for it. Okay? Is that clear?
So if the original tax was $100, and he pays them $200, so he only gets the 100 back.
Right. Right, that's the machlokas. And the Gemara here, he only gets the 100 back. Okay? Says the Gemara, it's actually machlokas. I mean, but the one opinion here with Shmuel's is that they do get back. Time we learned over there. Marapeu rapur refuas nefesh, avlo refuas nomo. You can heal a person who is forbidden to derive any benefit from you for his own body, but not for his veterinary needs. There's refuas mama. Over here, Rabbi Yossi Chadaman one said, "Kam medir migufo, kam medir midachafro." It depends what the nether was. If it was nether from his body or from his property. So everybody has a parish here, but I like the Yerushalmi's parish. The Yerushalmi's parish is that if he took a nether not to derive him with bodily benefit, so then that's what he can do, right? But Kamadim Mechotzev, there's no problem of there's no problem in the property. So then he can heal even his animal. I don't know if I'm making that clear. Let me try that again. One said that you're madir the animal on its body, or one says that's the case. The other say about where you madir it from its property. I'm still not getting it across. What? Because you're a vet. You can't work for him as a vet. But if you only took an oath, because you took an oath not to derive any benefit. But if you're only working, if your oath was not to give him any hanor for your property, so you're not giving any hanor for your property by being a vet for him. Okay, that would be okay then.
Well, the animal's for his property.
What?
You
see, the conventional way of understanding, the way the Korban A and Pnei Moshe understand the conventional way, is Kamdir Megufo means that if you're madir him from his goof, then in that case, meaning you're madir from his property, so then you can't do veterinary, because veterinary is his property. Madir him from the goof, from his own bodily, the derivation of benefit from you, so he can do his animal, because it's not, you're not providing him a goof for it, obviously, right? That's the way they explain it. The Yerushalmi explains the opposite. He says that kamadir nechosav, then kamadir megufo is a reason to be machmir, because it means I made an oath not to provide you with any services. So what's the service? That he can't, he's not going to provide with him for, whatever it is. So then here it's specifically veterinary things. He can't heal he can't heal the animal.
Because services is a very generic term.
Yes.
It's all inclusive. It
Right.
doesn't mean money or body or whatever. It's just anything.
Right. Kam dir min chosav, though, means I'm not supposed to provide tangible benefits, but to provide the veterinary service, that'd be okay.
Even though that indirectly.
Indirectly, right? Because it's not nichnas biyodo. Didn't go into his hands directly. That's so. Unlike Pitzuyah, it didn't go to his hands. Chaim on the other side, the difference is kam b'shiyech lo mishrapenu. Depends if there's another vet around, not he himself for himself, but for his animal. Kam mishrapenu, then there's no, if there's somebody else to heal him, so then let the other person do it. There is nobody else to heal him, then this doctor should do it himself. Okay? Him, I said him, but it means here the animal. This veterinarian should do it himself. Okay? But about where he has a case where somebody else can heal him. So I feel for us an why how can he even heal the individual himself? Right? According to Marsh Farshim, how can he heal the individual himself? Let the other doctor heal him. Or according to the Or Samech, it means that how can he even provide indirect healing? Right? There's somebody else, so let the other person do it. So this says more a very interesting point. Lo mikol them zochus rapos. All doctors are different, so therefore you're entitled to pick the doctor even though he's Buddha Hanoah from you. Okay, is that clear?
Well, is this a Sakanas Nefashos?
No, it's not Sakanas Nefashos. No, because then we wouldn't have the whole discussion. Right. Okay? So it says, isn't the property of the person who finds the object and gives it back also to the person who lost? The para here is the lost object. Right? So if that's the case, I forgot the one wants to ask here. Yeah, let's go on the Sefer. The Sefer said, we explained it when we learned the Mishnah, but the Sefer said that if he's Mudar Anoah, the Schars go to Hektish, right? Because neither of them can derive the benefit. But the Gemara is asking, it sounds like even if the Baal Aveda is forbidden to even where the Baal Aveda is the Baal Aveda is one who's not allowed to derive benefit from the person who's giving back. So why does the person giving back have to give his hanor to the Beis Hamikdash? He's not allowed to provide benefit for the person from whom he found the object, but he's allowed to accept benefit from that person. Right? So why should he not get his reward? You found an object for a person who forbade hanor of his property upon you. That's hanor, but if for him to pay you, where's the hanor involved? Why should that be okay? Okay? So it says the Gemara, so where they're moving hanor on each other. So that's why it's a muda hanor on each other, so therefore one guy can return the lost animal because that's a mitzvah shavas aveda, but the other guy can pay him back. Okay? Says the Gemara, Ula b'Rabbi Shmuel b'Shem Rabbi Yitzchak said, Ma? No, I went back line. My mistake anyway. Like this. Who's the one
who said that the Noah goes to Hekdesh in that case. Rameir said Molin Bisor says Me'ilah on stuff which is made also because of a nether. Rabbi Machia asked a question. Another mina kikor, fascinating issue. He asked if somebody took an oath to refrain from eating a piece of bread, could he burn the bread in order to eat his hands? We actually had this in Klulis, but I forgot it, so I'll look it up tonight. Shemina Midah, let's start out from here. Amar Kikar Zu Hekdesh, if somebody said this roll is Hekdesh. Imar Mar if he's going to say, if you go, it said that it's upon me to finish, to accept upon myself, Me'ilah. No, I go back a line. I lost my place mentally. Let me go back a line. All my kickers do hektish. If you said this object, this loaf should be hektish. Ochlam yedit bein hu ben acher here or somebody else. Moral, there's Me'ilah. Now I'm not stressing this enough, but he didn't really make it hektish. He made it koino. The Mefarshim say. The Mefarshim say that lashon koinim is a lashon neder, and it's not just a lashon neder, but it's also a lashon of making something hektish. So therefore, if you ever transgress a neder, you're actually transgressing two different things. What are you transgressing? Or at least in these cases. Neder and Me'ilah, that's right. Okay? So he says, Im amar harehu alai. If a person said, it's upon me, achlo ma'bo, achlo, if he ate it, right, without language of kona. So then, achlo, if he ate it, ma'bo, because he's not allowed to eat it. However, b'tayvas hanoy, for whatever it was worth, as to give it to somebody else. Acherim said, lo ma'bo, there is no meal involved. L'fichach ein lo pidyon, therefore there's no pidyon in this case. Lo mar elo achlo, because that's be, alright, lo mar elo achlo. It only says that to eat it is forbidden. But to use it to heat your hands should be permitted. So Tamidai Rabbi Yehuda B'Shem Bun Barachia said Kini. Well, there's lo. This is actually a separate case. Yeah, so it says, Bun Barachia said, Kini. Vomer lo chalti blood person. With that case, the person says they're not going to eat it and not going to taste it. Lo asra lav el achila. He forbade himself to eat. Akadun tzricha yeah, so the Talmid Rabbi wanted to bring a proof from this. They said, if a guy took a net that he's not going to eat something, nor taste it, so he's still only also to eat, there's no Me'ilah involved. So that's more, it's not a proof. Akadun Tricha, we're asking, not a mina kikar, if he took a koinam on the kikar, malacham and misyolov. In other words, if your oath is only not to eat, then your taka don't have to be in korban me'ilah. If you do it or somebody else does it. But if your oath was a konam, or your nether was a konam, so then our shaila is, does that isser of konam actually make like hekdesh and there's me'ilah, or is there no me'ilah? And that's the end of the Gemara. The Gemara doesn't resolve it. It's a fascinating question because really me'ilah is usually only shaykh to hekdesh, right? But you're using me'ilah on a personal neder. But that's the pshat here, that since the neder was phrased as a koinam, so therefore the shaila is that perhaps it does take on the parameters of me'ilah which apply to regular korbanos. Okay? The Gemara doesn't resolve it. Gemara brings down a case which ultimately doesn't have konim in it, so therefore it's not a resolution. Okay, on we go. Let's take a deep breath. Wake up. And we have to do a blot and a half now. The time is Trumaso Maisra of L'daito. And he takes off his Truman his Mises only with his consent. Umakir love, and he sacrifices for him if he's a man. The birds brought by a Zav. Kezavas, the birds brought by a Zava. Kine Yoldos, the birds brought by a lettuce. Chatos, Vashamas, and a Chatos and Osham. Umulamdo, and he could teach him, even though his mother, the other guy's not derive any benefit from him. Midrash, Halochos, Vagoros. All the Tersh Balpeh. Loyam the Mikor, not Tersh Biksav. Amlamed was born of Mikor, but he can teach his kids Chumish. Vizonis Ishto, and he can sustain with by feeding as Ishto born of his daughter and son. Even though the husband, father is Chaim Zunas, this other guy, his mother can feed him as well. Loyosin is bento, but he can't feed his animal. Bentmeo, whether it's his kosher animal, but his unkosher animal, Beitor, or his kosher animal. It depends. Zonas Hatamea, he can feed the non-kosher animal. Veno Zonas Hataira, he can't feed the kosher animal. Armulos, they said to Rebbe, what's your logic? Ma beit meilu Torah, what's in between a tummy animal, Torah animal? I'm going to say that, I'll tell you. Shatoira, the reason why the friend is Mudra Anoah cannot feed the Torah animal, Shator Navsha L'Shamayim. Hashem will kill her for L'Shem Shamayim. But the Gufa Shalo, the body belongs to the guy who kills her, slaughters her. So therefore, if I fatten up the body, eventually this guy might eat what I fattened up. And he's mudra hana from me, so he's not allowed to. So if it's no good. So Amrlo, they said to him, if that's the case, avatmeya, so to obey him, nafshel shamayim. So who knows the value of its nefesh. But gufa shalo. But lamaisa, the body is his. Shim yirtza, because if he wants, he can sell the animal out to life to non-Jews, or we give it as animal, as dog meat to his dogs. So bottom line, he's getting enough from the fattening of the animal for some future purpose as well, and that also is awesome. Okay? Somebody fixes his friend's fruit without his consent. How does that work? Who gets the benefit of deciding which coin and which slave should get the trumas and maisus? Right, so it's a machlokas, like all good things in Shas. Only I don't remember this from Bali. It belongs to the person who fixes up. Right? In other words, the right to direct to whom this meiser or truma goes belongs to the guy who fixes up. Right? Belongs to the guy whose fruit it is. Rabbi follows the line of reasoning. Rabbi Zir said, name Hashem ben Lakish. Ifrish carbon nazir. If I separate for you a carbon of Nazirus, or a carbon of Tzayah Shachaber, or you are a carbon of Tzayah, HaMiskaper, you, the guy who gets kapara, who shall I say Tluma, Tmura, right? You're the one who has jurisdiction for making Tmura on it or not. I paid for it, but now it's yours. So to hear the same thing, even though I paid for it, now it's yours to make the decisions, right? Basnisa Pli Rabbi Shimon Lakish, however, our Mishnah seems to argue with Shimon Lakish. Because it says, if I take a true severe stuff, ledaito, it's got to be with your consent. Hey, why does it have to be with your consent? If it's with your consent, if the Tova Sanoah belongs to the Tova Sanoah belongs to the Baal HaPeiros, so why does he need to consent? This is the way I learned. Nobody else learns this way, but it's the way I learned this Gershmar. Why do he need to consent? What's the whole Mila? What's the reason why somebody might not want to let his friend take off Shumas and Meisers? Because he loses the Teva Sanoya. But if Rabbi Zira is correct, he doesn't even lose the Teva Sanoya. His friend will take the Shumas and Meisers, and he'll still get to decide where it goes. So why do we need his das? We should be able to assume his das to be there, right? Sounds right? So it says the Gemara, But the law, we're talking about a case where, in a chanami, the Baal Pei is not going to have a Tovas Hanah. That's what we have to have his das. Okay? Ksiv, it says, getting back, why we teach Torah for free. Ksiv, I taught you chukim and mishpatim, I taught you laws and judgments. Mani b'chinam, God taught the Jews for free. What a concept. If God were doing that around today, wouldn't we do it for free anymore? Charge for web access. Mani b'chinam, afatav b'chinam, so do you do it for free as well. Yochel mikra v'tarim kein, did God teach us Chumash and Targum for free? He did. But Talmud says, Chukim u'mishpatim, Chukim u'mishpatim atem lamdim b'chinam. The judgments, the laws, v'yatem lamdim b'chinam mikra v'targum, but you can charge money for teaching Torah Sh'biksav. V'chein chami says, well, hey, wait a minute, we saw even more than that. We saw Masnaya Nasfin Dagreon. We saw that Masnaya people teaching Mishnayos. Teaching Masnisim, they weren't getting money. How are they getting money? So says the Gemara, I'll tell you. Well, Rabbi Shmuel, Schar B'Teilen, we get Schar B'Tola, right? What we could have made somewhere else and are forsaking, but not the actual salary. Rabbi Zira said, Midivrayim. The way, I'm going to describe an Eid Pnei Moshe as a different child, which I think is very strange, that Midivrayim is going out the next case. I think Midivrayim is going to previous case, like Korban Eid says, and it means, Midoraisa Enochanami, people who teach Mishnayos should not get paid. Midrabanan they're paid, because otherwise who's going to teach the Mishnayos and the Gemara, all that kind of stuff. Okay? Says more further. Zonis Avdo, does a person feed the slave of a person's mudar nor from him or not? They wanted to say yes, for sure. According to opinion that holds that by a behemoth Torah, that since it's going up to the what's that?
Everybody has gears of giant shadow, right? What's that?
Oh, no, it's right, okay. Reason why I can't fan up your animal if you're to forbidden to benefit from me is because you're going to eventually eat the fat which I provided you, which means I provide you with hana. So that's true where you can slaughter the animal and eat it. But can you slaughter your Evan and eat him? No. So therefore you should be able to provide him with food, right? It's not a problem. Right? Again, again, Shim Yirtzah Remochel Goyim Omer Machil Klavim. V'zuhil v'ein gufa shelo here that you don't own the body of it. V'ein mochel goyim, you're not allowed to sell an Eved Knai to goy either. V'ein machil klavim, you're not allowed to feed him to the dogs. Therefore, Zanasavda, you're not providing the owner of the slave with any perceivable advantage, so therefore you're allowed to feed his dogs. Ashkatani found this surprise explicitly. Zonas not his dogs, his slaves. Sorry. Ashkatani Zonas Avdo, you can in fact feed his slaves. Okay. So now here, it's an interesting case. We're talking about where the visitor has curtailed all benefit of the dying person, of the chayla, from him. Okay? So you can come visit him. But he's got to stand. Lawyer should, he can't sit down. Lawyer's going to ask why not. I can heal him. Refuas nefesh, meaning his himself, the chayla, avlo refuas moment, but not his veterinary needs. They can wash together in a big bathtub. Avlo b'ktana, but not a small bathtub, because in a small bathtub, obviously, they're providing each other with heat and with benefit, right? And Rabbi Yoshua Mita can sleep in the same bed. It's just uncomfortable. It's only in the summer it's uncomfortable. But not in the winter. Why? Because they give anah of heating each other up. Okay? They can sit in the same bed, but we're going to eat together on the same table. But not from a common plate. Because I'm afraid that I'll give him anah by leaving him a bigger portion. So that's also. But from a plate which goes round and round and round, where she stops nobody knows, that's okay. Tomorrow's going to explain that. Why, if the guy who's visiting is not allowed to provide any benefit, he's to the sick person, why can he stand and not sit? So he shouldn't spend a long time there. Because if he spends a long time there, it's geschmack for the sick person. So gewaldige bikur cholim. That's anoya. That's forbidden. You can't provide with anoya. It's anoya. However, that is where the doctor forbade himself to provide benefit for the sick man. So he can't stick around. But let's say the choila forbade his property to the doctor, who thought al nafshe was his stupid mistake. He might die as a result of his having asked the doctor to provide him with help. But the doctor can do it. You know why? Because in that case, the doctor is not deriving any benefit. Hi, the choila is, it's his tough luck. He might burn for deriving benefit from the doctor who is also deriving manoah. But the doctor's allowed to go in and save the guy if he wants to, because the issue is not incumbent upon him, but rather than the person who took the net. Okay? Says the Gemara, you can't grow small back together. You know why? Interestingly, because he raises the water level for him. He displaces more water, makes it easier to wash. Means opens up the bathhouse for him. They can go to the small bathhouse, though not a small bathtub. What's the difference? Because there it seems like this is like a schwitz, and the more people in the schwitz, the worse it is. I don't know exactly why that is, but more people there, the worse it is. Maybe they smell bad. I don't know. But in any event. So it said they bring all sorts of spars to play mush here. But bottom line is it's bad, right? Because he creates some unwarranted heat, which is bad and uncomfortable, and that's not hanoah. They can only together from the revolving plate. My tam choser. Tam remained there. They said puskita. Puskita is the language of equal pieces. So therefore, it's an equal piece of plate. It's going around, and none of them is the Baal Bais. Neither of them is in charge of it. The plate is just going around the room. So that's okay. We're not afraid one of us will take a smaller piece and leave a bigger piece for the other guy, or vice versa. What's the tamchu achoizer? Tamchu sheish bolechol is bolos here. So there's enough to eat to be satiated to leave over. So therefore, neither person providing hanoah for the other person, because everybody's going to eat to the heart's content, and still there'll be leftovers anyway. Okay? Tani, we learned, mina kois choser. Also, they can go both drink from the same cycling cup. What's the kois choser? Tamarine over there, they said kunditon, very fine wine, so everybody just takes a sip. So therefore, nobody is providing anybody else with any outs or excuses, and therefore they can drink it. Rabbanan over here said, what's kunditon? They said, what's, not kunditon, what's kaisa choizer? So they said, malye me suras kitchen. This is talking about where it's full of grasses, waters, and all sorts of herbs, and they and people drink from it a little bit. They shasyon umachzirin, and then they give it back to the Ba'abais because there isn't that much to go around. So they have the same thing. One person's neither person caused the other benefit, because anyway they would have only gotten a small amount to drink. Okay. However, if you're muda hanoah, you can't eat with him in the trough together. with the other workers, because then obviously there's conflict and paradox, right? Lo yasimo b'uman. Also, you can't do a trade with him. Now, according to Pnei Moshe's different shah, but Pnei Moshe's shah is very difficult. But according to Korban it means you can't do a trade with him. Divrei Meir, because you're giving him bano. He can learn from a distance, but not up close. If you learn up close, they might come to help you, to help each other. But he stands in one room and watches, and the other guy's face blowing glass on the other side of the room, that's okay. Okay? Says more, Al Daiti Rameir. Now, I really very badly want to change this to Al Daiti D'Rabbana. I really do. But I'll read you the way it says it here. Al Daiti Rameir. Also, Lam Domnus. You're not allowed to teach him a job, right? Because it says here, Lo Yasi Mo B'Uman, right? But I want to learn it's going in Rabbanan. And what it means is that Rabbanan hold he can observe, but not that he can teach Mamish. Because teaching Mamish an apprenticeship relationship, there are always going to be problems of one person fighting on off for the other. This is Dafka, so even Rabbanan hold, again, if I change the gears to Rabbanan, even Rabbanan hold that to teach him the Umlus directly is awesome. And then Al Daiti to Rabbi Meir, on top of test him out, it's also even, I can't be a guy's lawyer in court and teach the schus on him. Why? Because, just like Rabbi Meir said in the Mishnah, even at a distance, I can't have any affiliation with him. That means even to be his lawyer, even to go to court for him, is also not something I can do for him. Okay? So he takes it much further, the Rabbi Meir. Okay? Somebody who makes an oath not to provide any, to get any benefit from his friend, lifnei shvius before Shemitah, lo yorei etel steh, he can't go into his field. Ve'eno eichel min ha'noites, he can't eat stuff which is inclined out of the field, because it's all part of the field. This is before Shemitah. U'v'shvius, at Shemitah itself, lo yorei etel steh, he can't go into his field, avo ochel min ha'noites, but he can eat from the stuff which is stretching outside the field. Here's an interesting halacha. The Mishnah is saying the field itself never becomes hefker during Shemitah. Only the contents. So therefore the person's mother or not can go and take the fruit, but he can't go into the field in order to do that. Because then he's trying to benefit from the other guy's property. Very interesting proposition, right? Yeah, this is a Mishnah which doesn't appear anywhere else in Shas. So why would you, unless you remember it from the last Nedarim, but unlikely, I would never remember it. So, neither man of machlif neshvis. What if you only took a nether not from his property, but only from his food? Then, of course, it's different. So, Yoratel so you can go to his field. Vein ochel me'peres, you can't eat the fruit. With shvius and shmita, you can actually go down and eat the fruit, and of course, go in because you didn't take on an oath not to derive benefit, only not to eat. Says the Mar V'yere. Why in the Shemitah can't he just go down quickly and take the fruit and run? Like even during Shemitah. So that's more Shelo Yisha, because he might sit under a tree, get some shade, and that's also because that's Noah, actually. Rabbi Yochanan Patam Asis, now we have a very cool Lamdashim Machlokas. Yochanan Patam Asis, he said, I'm interested about Hamoy Anam Mechaber Lifnei Shvius. So he took an oath not to get on Noah from a certain before Shemitah. Any other talks there can't go down his field then before Shemitah. He can't even take stuff which is on branches which extend out beyond the field's fence. On Shemitah itself, he can't go down to his field and eat the fruit, right? Because he can't use the field. But here's the key point: if he actually took the neder after Shemitah began, then we just ignore the neder. Because it's like neder shabbat mitzvah sabato kulo. I actually just thought of that Svara right now. Because these neder is on the food and on the field, right? And it's during Shemitah. Before Shemitah, both parts of neder can take effect. But during Shemitah, the neder on the food cannot take effect. So it's neder shabbat mitzvah sabato kulo. Neder doesn't take effect. Okay, so therefore he'd even go into the field. He says, he took the oath from benefit, can't go into his field, obviously before Shemitah. What if he took the nether, even at Shemitah itself, he's still we still can't go into the guy's field. But he can eat from the fruit. Okay? So even though he doesn't hold in this case, Neder Shabbat Mikzah Sabbat Kula. Why not? We'll see in a minute. Not in Mera Machal Shvis. If you took a neder not to eat the food before Shemitah, and not to the field, then of course we can go down to the field. Just say no choperos, he can't eat the fruit before Shemitah. If you know that if we made the neder drink Shemitah, you're can go down and eat, because again, in this latter case, they only took a shvua from the fruit, not from the field. Now, what about why do we say according to Rabbi Shimon Lakish neder shuta mitzvah luto kulo? So it says a more fascinating answer. V'saya Rabbi Shimon Lakish goes like Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi Amar mivnei shekodam nitro lefkero. Yossi said with neder which comes before hefker doesn't work. It's a fascinating concept, actually. The Rabbi Yossi later in the parak. Rabbi Yossi says that if I take any time if I'm Asr Ba'ana, if I'm Asr Hana of my stuff on you, so what I do is I make my stuff hefker, then you can have it, right? Because it's not my stuff anymore. Earth says, nah, that doesn't work. It has to be that my hefker preceded my neder. If my neder preceded my hefker, it doesn't work. Okay, that's Rabbi Yossi Shita. Okay, Rabbanan obviously argue. But Rabbi Shimon Lakish holds like Rabbi Yossi. Where he's came beside Rabbi Shimon Lakish, Rabbi Yossi, to Rabbi Yossi, and they should call them neder lafkero. Kain Rabbi Shimon Lakish Amar, Shekodam nidro lehefkero. In order for the neder to be null and void, the neder has to precede the hefker. The lo hefker lenidro, not the hefker precede the neder. If the hefker precedes the neder, then that's the shekodam nidro lefkero. Oh, that's no good. If the neder comes before the hefker, it's no good. The hefker is no good. If lo hefker lenidro, if the hefker precedes the neder, then it is good, okay? In other words, the neder has to come after hefker, not vice versa. So here too, Rav Shimon Lakish says, over here, even you took the oath during Shemitah and said, I want to take an oath from both the field and from the fruit, right? So we don't say neder shabata miktsasa bata kulo, because at this time already, I'm not sure exactly what the connection is, but at this time already the field is already hefker, right? The field is already hefker. It's after the fact. So it's not a neder shebata mitzasa bata kulu. After your neder is meaningless, right? So in this case, it's already after the hefker took place. I don't know if that's actually the pshat though.
The hefker took place at the beginning of Shemitah, and you then make the neder once Shemitah has started, after the field is already hefker.
Right.
So that means that the hefker preceded the neder, which should...
Yeah, but it should work. It should work. I think I have it backwards. All right, we're going to have to leave it for tomorrow night, but because I think it's backwards. Actually, Rabbi Yochanan and Shimon Lakish. That's why let me finish till the end, and we'll have to work it back tomorrow. And Rabbi Vav Barchim Shem B'Yom said, "Mo Rabbi Yossi b'Efker Torah Shu Mutter." That which Rabbi Yossi say again, I don't see exactly what plugs in there machlokas now that I'm trying to say it over. But that which Rabbi Yossi holds, that hefker can't come after neder. It's only when I make it hefker. But the Torah makes it hefker, then that can work even after my neder. So here Shemitah is the Torah making it hefker, not me making it hefker. Alright, so I'll have to come back tomorrow night and see how it works. It's machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Shimon Lakish.